Good afternoon. Welcome to your Libra full moon. It's actually a super full moon. We have a bit of a tarot reading here, a bit of a crystal magic and energy, some herbs, and just some things that we can work on releasing and understanding and transforming and moving forward and use this powerful energy of the moon to embrace a variety of things about ourselves and the people in our lives and how we can grow and transform through this insight. So this full moon is opposing the sun, and we're in Aries, so we're in fiery Aries. And you know, the card for this moon is the Justice card. That represents Libra, and that's a sign that wants compromise and justice. So Aries is kind of like looking for things to go his way or the highway kind of thing. And like the scales that Libra represents, the key to this full moon will be to find justice, compromise, balance, and equality for all, and in all areas of your life, all relationships that you have. The positive energy that's prevalent here is that even though it's that fiery intensity to take action, there's going to be a very grounding force. There's a lot of planetary tools that will be able to help us to achieve our goals and to make better decisions and to find this balance. Many people don't think about the sign of Libra as being an action taker. Libra may want to go about things in a peaceful and a harmonious way, but that doesn't mean that they can't act. You know, it's a cardinal sign. So when it wants to do something, it goes after it head on. And it's going to be tapping into that Aries magic too. And Venus, there's a lot of things interacting with Venus. So things that they love, they are going to go after. Never underestimate that peacekeeper that's wants that peace and wants to find that balance of Libra. Justice pumping in their veins, and when it needs to be handed out, when things need to be balanced, Libra's going to be able to react appropriately and do what's necessary. And then we have Chiron too. Chiron's here as the wounded healer, and he's playing a big role in this full moon story too, with Chiron and Aries, where we're making these pioneering changes. We're fighting for things that we need to be brave and courageous. Perhaps we're trying to make peace with what we've gone through in the past and heal our old wounds. And that's what most full moons are about as well. We're releasing those, perhaps as we enter this new year, we're finding that some of these wounds are new. We're new people, they're new wounds, and we're trying desperately to rise above them. So whatever the case is, we have to put on this armor. We have to go out into battle with our Aries armor and be brave and be courageous. And there's Saturn and Uranus doing all of these things, and they're nudging us. They've been nudging us for quite a while now to advocate for change. But we have these still limitations and restrictions, but Saturn is going to be supporting us. Saturn will be having a trine, and that energy is support that's going to be shining through while that justice of some sort gets served. So, again, with Libra is ruled by Venus. So the other big aspect of this moon is the Venus energies. And this is going to shift up some dynamics and shine some lights on our closest relationships. And show us what needs to be addressed. With the Venus and the Chiron and the Aries, there's a lot of sensitive feelings surrounding our love and our relationships. We're being pulled, between our own desires, our struggles, and our values, and then the desires of others, and we have to find this balance between our inner and outer worlds, our inner and outer relationships. So if we're playing the cards right, if we're following these energies, Libra is going to allow this moon to give us a beautiful opportunity to bring more of that harmony and that balance into our lives, to get really deep into our relationships and understand them, and make ourselves feel whole in our confidence of knowing that as we charge forward into this new astrological year, that all our relationships will be balanced. We will all be at this space where, we can see what we need to do. So there's a lot of opportunities for growth and development with our various social groups, our soul tribes, our channels, how we communicate with each other. You know, Libra's got that element of air. She loves to look and learn and love, and with Venus, with that focus on beauty and flirtations and those rose-colored glasses, we can kind of like charge into this energy where we're following our heart, where we're embracing the balance, and we're embracing those Venus just did something with her star point energies from a couple days ago, and that energy's still here too. And that's, highly energetic, highly powerful energy to move forward in our lives in a loving and balanced and whole way. I guess we can move right from there into our crystals. So here I have most of the crystals that you'll notice in this grid are Venus crystals. We have carnelian, pyrite, Venus golden hairs, bloodstone, jasper, ruby fuchsite, fluorite, rainbow and green. I have more green fluorite, some stilbite, some peach selenite. This is also a combination of crystals that you would work with during a full moon as well. Typical full moon crystals. Ruby fuchsite, that's another Venus crystal. I have some jade. That's works beautifully with Venus energies and earth energies. And then we have a couple of the black and white crystals that symbolize that balance, that duality, that Libra's, and that justice, those scales. I have some more rose quartz, lapis lazuli, citrine, green aventurine, bloodstone, more Venus crystals, rhodochrosite, the blue celestite, some more, opal for Libra. And then as far as herbs, I have herbs that go well with air, and that would be yarrow. Thyme is a beautiful herb to work with during this moon, and rosemary. And then I also put some chamomile, and that has our sun energy, but it also has a bit of air energy, and it goes nicely with the Libra air energy. I think that's it for all my crystals and herbs. Some things that you can work with for this moon too would be like rosemary, vanilla, basil, mugwort. The animal that goes along with this moon would be the bald eagle, and that would be to represent balance and harmony. The wisdom of the owl is here for us as well, to understand that balance, to find that balance. The eagle, the dark and light plumage on the eagle is balanced because they have this dominion over the sky and the air. And then also the water and the fierceness in the heart of winter. That's the fire energy, and the nurturing of their young, which is very earthy and grounded. And that moves us into our tarot cards. So what I did today was I pulled out the Justice card for you. She's right here. And this card is associated with this moon, as we said. The Justice archetype would be, we're thinking logically about a situation. Perhaps we're thinking a little bit too emotionally, and it's time to take that step back and take a more objective approach. Use the energy of the owl or the bald eagle and fly above. Be able to look at that big picture. And also, any of the 2 cards in the tarot deck are excellent cards to work with during this Libra moon too. Perhaps you're juggling things like the 2 of Pentacles, and perhaps you are even paralyzed with a decision. You're having trouble making a decision like you would see in the 2 of Swords. So this, this full moon is partnerships and balance. And we have the sun in Aries, and we have this spring energy bursting forth. We have optimism. We have newness, life springing all around. The earthworms have come up, and the moon is ruling our emotions. And we're trying to find this balance in those emotions and in all areas of our life. So, get your moon water, go outside, get grounded in the earth, plant some seeds. Get a house plant to represent growth and prosperity, and get started. So, again, back to our Libra card, Justice. She is here to give us this wisdom. We'll move her out of the way because now we're going to get into the cards that I pulled. So, I asked my guides to give us some sense of perhaps what we need to work on releasing during this moon. As we said, those wounds that we need to release, those things that we need to heal. And then where perhaps there are imbalances as well in our lives, in our relationships. And then what the center card here, what we need to learn from our relationships, what those friendships and those love relationships and those work relationships and those family relationships, what they can bring from us, what we can learn from them, how we can grow from those relationships, maybe the karma that surrounds them and such. And then I just kind of pulled an extra card for a little bit of wisdom. And we'll go into that card later because I actually pulled a card that is an extra card in this deck. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Normally when I pull this card, I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but pulling it with this particular spread, it's you can't make this up. It's perfect. It's a perfect card to pull. So we'll probably get into that later, or we could do it now. I would say, let's get into it now. So first of all, we have the Artist. That's the card that is added by the artist of this deck, this particular deck. This is the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot. And this card, interestingly enough, it represents an additional sign to the zodiac. Now, some people disagree as to if this is real or not, but it is the 13th sign of the zodiac. Some modern astrologers have kind of gone back and forth about this, and they've decided, do we add it, do we not add it? But for our purposes today, it's just kind of interesting. It's called Ophiuchus. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's represented by the symbol of a woman that handles a snake or an actual serpent itself. So this artist wanted that to, illustrate. This card is to illustrate someone that is, the artist. The artist is the vessel of creation. So this is that creative, feminine, nurturing woman, Kundalini energy that's being activated. This card is saying that we need to open to the knowledge of this wisdom of this moon, and set aside our distractions and be able to listen to those whispers, those intuitions. We did get the High Priestess yesterday, so her energy's here too. Like she's kind of missing, but we know she's in the background. This represents the visionary, the passionate artist, the musician, someone that's very sensual, very following their heart. And, the serpent gives us that imagery of the spiral and the twisted body and the the Ouroboros, and my end is my beginning. And we go back around in loops and spirals, and healing is never linear. So that's, we're all on our different healing paths. And I feel like this, it talks about that transformation magic of the snake too, like taking that snake venom, that poison, those circumstances that maybe seem a little more darker, a little more troublesome, a little more intense emotionally, and transforming those into beautiful, grounded energies that we can use to get our ideas moving. Use that fiery Aries energy, just kind of everything working in tandem together, weaving this beautiful magic of like going into our past, healing those wounds, taking what we learned from that, acting them, in the present, grounding them down, and then moving forward with that fiery Aries energy to take those things that we've transmuted and use them to create and grow and transform and connect with each other. It's just such a beautiful card to have pulled. And the number 13 is very lucky as well, my friends. So the 13th zodiac, that's pretty cool. Okay. So now we have our three main cards that I pulled here. This card in the middle, the Sun card, she's beautiful. I think we'll start with her. And this is our Venus energy here. This is our bliss. We're looking forward to the summer. This is our card that I asked the guides to let us know what we need to know about our relationships. Whether they be coworkers, friends, family, lovers. We have this warm sun, and she's standing there like fully in her self. Her heart chakra is vibrating. Her solar plexus radiates. There's all this beautiful golden sunlight. We have the sunflowers, and it's just there. She's birthing. She's creating again with that creative energy, like from the artist card and the snake. It's that energy is just rising up from within her. The particles of light and the heat that are bursting forth from the sun. And, there's all these beautiful, spectacular patterns, and the light is cascading everywhere. I mean, just picture it. It's beautiful. It's this capacity to love, this overabundance of magic. She's dancing and she's feeling that joy, and she's in her full energy of herself, where she's just loving herself just as she is. And I think that's that's an important thing with our relationships too, is that, we're being asked to create this love and this harmonic abundance and this illumination of who we truly are, stepping into our authentic selves, being courageous and not afraid to shine and show who we are, joyfully celebrating this, like, this positivity radiating throughout. It's calling in success and abundance and new beginnings. And, we're going to find bliss here. We're going to find bliss. And when we exchange this energy with others, and we allow others to come into our hearts and our minds, people are drawn to that. Like when we're embracing our true selves, when we're following our heart, people are drawn to that. Others want to come into that warm glow of your heart. They can feel it. They can feel drawn to you. They can, sense your charisma. And this card is saying, take this energy from within you. What makes you happy? Dancing, singing, moving, expressing yourself, being who you are, like just like a child, that inner joy, and that radiates out. This things are unfolding beautifully, and you are perfect the way that you are, and your tribe loves you, and those people around you, they love you, and they feel that energy coming from you. And it's just like, setting the world ablaze with inspiration and love and creativity and growth and abundance, and all of that just sharing around, just that, again, that spiral. It creates that ripple to everybody around you. And that's the beautiful thing about being open and opening up to our friends and our family and being who we are and sharing that love, and that's going to help create that harmony, because where there is perhaps some imbalance in our relationships, where there is imbalance in that outer world, it feels chaotic. This love energy, this creativity, this passion, this heart, that will smooth out all of those rough edges and smooth out those imbalances and bring everything back to harmony, back to earth, back to Mother Nature, back to the collective, so we can begin to heal together and share our gifts with each other, you know, under the beautiful, beautiful sun. So, oh, I love it. Perfect card. So now we have on either side of that, we have our Six of Swords and our Seven of Wands. So we're moving through, you know, the fact that we have a 6 and 7, we're moving up, we're you know, releasing some of those past energies. We are beginning to move forward in this Aries season. I guess I would start with the Six of Swords as perhaps a bit of some of that energy that we do need to leave behind. So this card would, there's I guess there's a bit of confusion. I guess maybe, you know, where we're shining whole in the sun and we're happy with this card, it's saying that perhaps this we're going through these transitions, you know, as we're transforming, as we're tapping into that snake energy, and we're transforming those more negative things, and we're trying to find that harmony within us and find that harmony within those people, with those people that we share our lives with. We're feeling a little off balance. We're feeling a little bit confused. We're having trouble with this transition. So what we would need to release and heal is just that confusion about that. And maybe, you know, maybe we're feeling lost and we need to ask for help too. And just surrender to that, to those emotions that are coming through. And maybe know that the waters may feel a little choppy right now as those emotions are flowing through, but there are calmer shores ahead. You know, there's there's that shore in the distance, that sunlight. You can hear the birds, you can feel them. You know, you're turning your face towards that sun and that fresh air and that new beginning. You know, and stop trying to look to the past so much. You know, as you move through this period where you're realigning yourself, it can feel, you know, that, like I said, it can feel turbulent, it can feel confusing, you can feel isolated. Like he has all those swords in his boat, and, you know, perhaps there are other people in his boat with him, but it's just, this card is just focused on him, and he looks very alone. So, you know, when we're going through this change and this evolution in ourselves, we do tend to maybe feel a little bit alone. But just know that a better future is coming on the other side of this journey. So as you go through this rite of passage or this spiritual transformation, you know, you will feel alone, but you're being supported by the universe. You're being supported by those winds that are blowing you in the right direction. You know, that air energy, it's blowing you where you're supposed to go. It will bring you back to that balance. And, you know, again, with being who you are, like knowing who you are fully are and standing in yourself and loving yourself, you know that sometimes you do need help from others. And maybe this is saying too that as you're releasing that, as you're going away from that past, as you're, you know, going through this transition, maybe looking forward is your hope and your new beginnings and your relationships with other people that are, maybe they're here to help you, but you do need to be open to that. You do need to ask. And, you know, let go of those emotions that you're taking with you, those moments of distrust or anything that comes from that fear from what's happened to you in the past. You know, release that. This is a new journey. You know, your heart might still be anchored to those wounds and those past experiences, but you want to know that you're headed to those calmer shores. You have the journey ahead of you, and you are in charge of that boat. You can steer that boat, and the winds will help you, and the calmer waters will be coming up for you, and you just need to open yourself to that new journey. You know, give your heart permission to begin and to be open and to be truly who you are, because that is the loving space that this moon wants you to get to. You know, release that feeling of confusion. Ask for help. You are not alone. Your guides are with you. Your wisdom, you know, that wisdom that we saw in the the Justice card, the wisdom of the owl, there's bigger things out there that are guiding you. And as Chiron and Venus move you through this past trauma healing, you will come out the other side transformed, and you will be in the sun. You will be in the glory of who you are. You know, you will heal that heart, and you will be transformed in a space of love, and then that ripples out into everything else in your life. So as we unpack the rest of this energy, my lovelies, I know it's a lot. Full moons tend to bring that up, but the beauty on the other side of the full moon, and this energy will last for the next couple of days, is just you are completely full in who you are, and you will feel this new beginning. You will feel this beautiful new beginning, like in every fiber of your being. It will light you up, my friends. It truly will. So our last card would be, again, that Seven of Swords. And this card has been coming up a lot lately. I've seen it in some of my spreads. I've seen it in other readers' spreads. That energy has been here for a while, and we're being pulled to find balance in this area and release some of that energy. It's really holding us back. This card sometimes can indicate deception or trickery, or someone stealing from you. Someone getting away with something. But to me, this card, when I see it in this spread and when I see it with the other cards, it says to me that there's something that you're lying to yourself. You have this need for a new perspective. You can feel that something isn't right. Something, maybe the way that you've been talking to yourself or the way that you've been treating yourself. And you're not being honest with yourself about what you really want, what's going to make you happy. You're not embracing that energy of the sun where you're feeling confident in yourself and who you are. I think that there's, you're here in this present moment, and sometimes people are deceitful. Sometimes people are deceitful. Sometimes this isn't just you being dishonest with yourself, but you know what you've done. You know that you've taken only what you really need to get your job done and nothing more. And, I guess in this card, sometimes you'll see them pausing. This person is pausing. And I feel like this moon wants you to take this time to pause. Take this time to, remember that truth and honesty are always going to get you back to that moment of harmony, that grace. And make sure that you're aligning yourself with your own moral standards, your own ideas of what justice and harmony is and balance. Maybe you're not being truthful about your reality. Maybe there is something that you really need to release and move away from, and you're just kind of staying stuck there, and you're making excuses for things, and you're not acting from that place of love and integrity. Sometimes you're pretending that you're doing the best you can, but maybe there's more that you need to do. Maybe there's more that you need to do to step into this sun energy, to step into the truth of who you are, and to be more loving to yourself and others around you. Maybe you're feeling like that lie that you're living is not being in your truth and not coming from that place of love. You can't deceive your own heart. Eventually, your heart and the universe will always shine a light on those true feelings. And, here under this full moon, you might feel alone and vulnerable. And the moon is saying here, the only thing that matters is the truth. So make sure that you're moving forward and acting from that place of truth. And letting your conscience guide you, letting your heart guide you, and not worrying so much about others and what others think and what you can get from others. And, remember those relationships that, you know, Chiron and Venus and Libra want us to have, those relationships that are balanced, those relationships that are rooted and grounded in love. And any of those other relationships, whether that's a relationship with yourself, your past, somebody in your life that perhaps you need to let go of, somebody that is creating disharmony in your life, and maybe you've made excuses for that. Maybe you've made excuses for not living your truth. And, now is the time to go out and shine. Go out and shine and let Aries light that fire under you and find out what your spiritual truth is. Find out the truth that you need in order to live a full life and to surround yourself with people that bring you that fullness and that hope and that inspiration and that creativity. Anything that is stopping that transformation, that creativity, that growth, anything that's blocking that and holding you back, any of those thoughts, any communications that you're having with people, anything like that that's holding you back from shining in that splendor of the sun. The moon and my guides are saying just release it, let it go. Move through that healing, take the time alone to be silent and to listen to your intuition, because there's a lot of intuitive magic in the air. And being silent and working with the crystals and the herbs and in the elements of the earth and listening to your heart and your intuition, those are where your answers lie. Stop putting that out for other people to make you happy, to do things to make other people happy. That's not going to get you what you really truly desire and need. It's following your own heart and listening to your own heart and being true to who you are. That's where the true magic lies. And that's what this moon is all about, that inner balance and that love that you have for yourself and listening to yourself and following your creative inspirations in everything you do. That will affect everybody around you and raise the vibration of everybody around you. And just keep doing that, because we need more of that. And that's what the snake and the moon and the sun and the artist and just be who you are, my friends. Just be authentically you from your heart, and you can't go wrong. And I hope that for you, and I hope that for everyone around me, and I hope that for Mother Earth, because, we all need this healing right now. We all do. So have a lovely full moon weekend, and thank you for listening. And I really hope this brought you some clarity and some peace and some beautiful hope and healing and love. So thank you, lovelies.